tell them it's 'cause I like it.
Well, good morning, and the day after the CFP model and distribution were both issued, I wanted to kind of highlight the facts on this because there's a lot of people trying to make this a positive thing, and I don't know if it's just mainly people that want the Big 12 to stay where they're at in this messed up world of Big and SEC conference garbage. The reality is as Dennis Dodd posted, he put out here that the CFP revenue breakdown beginning in 2026 is that the SEC gets 29%, the Big Ten gets 29%, the ACC gets 17%, and the Big 12 gets 15%. Why the difference between ACC and Big 12, from what I'm told, is the number of teams. But still, I mean, that's bad, but the fact that SEC and Big Ten are getting almost double what the Big 12 are getting is really bad. Um, this graph by Tony Altimore breaks down the reality. So a lot of people, I mean, I'm not a graph person, but this is a graph that's realistic based upon what Dennis Dodd reported. And he shows the media revenue payouts per school, and then adds in the new CFP payouts per school. And you can see here by the graph that the Big Ten per school is getting 96 million per school. The SEC is getting 89 million per school, and way down there toward the bottom, the Big 12 is going to get 44 million per school. So the other piece was on this, seeing Tony's breakdown, is recognizing the fact that the Big Ten 96 million, the gap, the picture here at the bottom is the Big Ten gap per year is 52 million per school, and the SEC gap is 45 million per school. And over a 7-year period, Rutgers will be making 364 million more than Utah, TCU, you name it, any Big 12 team. So this is why I look at this and I call it death by 1,000 cuts, because basically you're choking off the ACC and the Big 12 here by the gap that you've created in revenue. It was bad enough that you already had more than double the gap, or about double the gap, on your regular media rights. And the CFP the revenue used to be equal, and now they doubled it again. So it's just, I don't care about a look-in. I know that everybody's saying, well, Yormark requested a look-in. Okay, let's say he gets a look-in because the ACC implodes. And let's say that the ACC implodes, but it only loses Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Louisville, Pitt, NC State, UNC. Well, you still have Georgia Tech, you still have Boston College, you still have Syracuse, you still have other schools, not to mention SMU, and then, of course, Stanford, Cal. And you add the Pac-2 into that, you still have 8 teams plus in the ACC. So a look-in doesn't give the Big 12 any more money like everybody's suggesting. Number one, the Big 10 and the SEC also adding teams from the ACC. So even if the ACC were to go away, the Big 12 doesn't automatically get the ACC's portion. I mean, that's just foolishness. But the fact is the ACC won't go away. Yes, it'll make way less than the Big 10 and the SEC, even less than the Big 12. That's going to be an obvious. But it's still going to make more than the G5s. Look at them way down there at 7 million. It's going to make more than that. I mean, even if it's at 15 million, in a regular distribution, and they still get this, I don't know, 10 million. I don't know what the shift will be in the CFP revenue since they're going to lose teams. But still, their regular contract should probably be around 15 million probably per school, and then you add in the 5 to 10 million CFP. It's still way more than G5. So that means there will be an ACC that survives. But still, that ACC will be less than the Big 12, which will be double less than the Big 10 SEC. So it means that you're choking off those conferences competitively. You're basically giving yourself an outrageous advantage. I don't know how this is not a monopolization of college football. That the Big Ten and the SEC have both monopolized college football. That's a fact. It's just no way to look around this. So I wanted to show you a couple other videos of people that are talking about this and showing you the realities that this is not good for the Big 12, the ACC, anybody else. This is only good for if you're a Big Ten or you're an SEC school. So here it is. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Okay, let's cover the Big 12 getting some really bad news from the College Football Playoff Committee. This conference got news that it probably didn't want to get, and news that Brett Yormark is likely going to have to vote for. But he's handcuffed into saying yes to, and that is less revenue from the College Football Playoff Committee. We have been told now by the College Football Playoff that the Big 12 is not only inferior to the SEC and the Big 10, but now also the ACC, 2% behind that conference. That's a 14% gap between the Big 12, the SEC, the Big 10. That's not good. When you are almost being doubled up by another conference, the idea of you staying alive is not great.
Yes. They included future teams that are moving over to these conferences.
Correct.
So the Big 12, if you don't include Oklahoma, has only had 2 schools that have represented them in the college football playoff. Now, what's worth acknowledging, this will reopen for some sort of renegotiation at some point, and that if they are active enough and able to produce better teams and more teams that participate in the playoff, maybe a national champion, which probably won't happen, then the argument can be made differently for the ACC and the Big 12. But they had no power. They had none.
We're delaying the inevitable. That's all that.
So?
I mean, that's all that what today really showed. I mean, you're delaying the inevitable of there being 2 super conferences. Yeah, we're delaying the inevitable, and it is what it is. So, look, we're going to two power conferences, man. That's just the bottom line. And
I kind of wish there was more of a fight put up, because I think it would have made things much spicier, and this would have moved a lot quicker. Instead, we kind of got the lame outcome.